What's up, everybody? It is a Blue Drake, and today I wanted to make a video talking about Fog of War. This has been highly requested. I do own it. I've owned it for a little bit now. I haven't had much time to play it because I've actually been getting ready to travel for some business. But I do want to talk about it because I think it's really worth your attention, especially if you are a fan of Red Orchestra, particularly the first one. Even Project Reality and Squad fans are probably really going to want to get behind this because it is one of the few World War II tactical games that has come out recently, that has a lot of the things that at least my fan base is interested in. So without talking about it too much, let's go ahead and watch the trailer. So this is built on Unreal Engine 4, which is pretty important for a couple of reasons. First off, this is likely going to have a much more feasible level of gameplay in terms of both performance and scale, because we've seen this accomplished in Unreal 4 before, specifically with Red Orchestra, specifically with Squad. And this game has gotten mixed reviews, but I think one of the reasons it's gotten mixed reviews is because since it has been freshly released, there are still a lot of things that could be better, but they are things that will be better. And they're things that aren't going to have some huge engine limitation limiting how far this can go. Now, as you saw in the video that we just watched, that I think is really, really cool, there is a lot of features that I think is really, really interesting. And this is actually, for instance, going back to things like Postscriptum, one of the strange, without having to bring that up again, but I don't know, I really enjoy analyzing it because I think this is important. Recently, Postscriptum was announced as a standalone game from Squad, which is really strange because normally I would strongly recommend Postscriptum as a modification for Squad, because if you already own Squad, there would be no reason to not play Postscriptum over this. But now, since Postscriptum is kind of like in its own competitive field, and you're going to be comparing it up to other games, and it's kind of like in its own category now, it's going to stand up to things like this. If it wasn't for that, I maybe wouldn't even talk about Fog of War. But Fog of War is, if you're going to spend money on a World War II game in Unreal Engine 4, it's $15, which is very reasonably priced. And it also has a lot of really cool features, such as towing different pieces of equipment. It has all of the features that you would expect from a game that our community would play. For instance, really great tank gameplay, the ability to have a squad. In fact, they even have an in-game squad menu very similar to Squad, which is I wonder if they were actually inspired by Squad. I wonder if there's any pictures of that here. Probably not. But in the game, there actually is a squad menu very similar to Project Reality, where you have squad leaders, you have commanders, and they have a logistics system, and they have a towing system with large open maps and lots of player versus player gameplay. Now, the game currently is not extremely well polished. There's a chunk of bugs and there's a chunk of performance issues. However, I have a feeling that those will be ironed out. And if you look past that, there's already a whole bunch of content for it. There's already a whole bunch of vehicles, a whole bunch of mechanics that are unique to this game that I have not really seen in at least many other games. Like, there's not very many other games other than, say, Arma, and even with Arma, you'd have to download mods, and you'd have to do a lot of things in order to get it to work that has towing and logistics on this kind of scale, in addition to in-depth tank mechanics. So I used to play a lot of Red Orchestra 1, and obviously this game is very, very heavily inspired by Red Orchestra 1. And it was a shame because when I played Red Orchestra 2, I was expecting more gameplay similar to Red Orchestra 1. Large open maps, vehicle gameplay that was asymmetrical and much more spread out, as opposed to being kind of much more cramped and a larger focus. And I feel like Fog of War is a hugely inspired Red Orchestra 1 game, but with elements of squad mechanics, whatever, whatever you would call that, squad systems, and also the large open-ended maps that Red Orchestra 1 was known for, but weren't repeated in the sequel. And I think if they're able to get all their stuff together, this could be a winner. Now, like I've said, I have not made a video on this yet. I was going to get a server, but then I found out that I couldn't figure out where the server files are, so I don't know if they actually have server files available. And then I tried to get in a match when I was on there, but this is a game made by Russians, so it was a bunch of Russian people, and I was like, damn it, I can't make a good video with this, because this is a really team-oriented game, and I really need team players. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on this trip for the next couple of days. When I get back on Thursday? I'm going to be out these 3 days, and I get back Wednesday night. So probably Thursday is the day that I'm actually going to start playing this. But this is definitely something that looks really, really interesting. And this is kind of what I've been predicting. I really think that there is going to be a huge influx of Unreal Engine 4 powered tactical shooters in the near future. Specifically because we're getting to this period where a lot more people are becoming well-versed in Unreal Engine. There's a lot more developers to hire from and who self-organize. Unreal Engine's license is very good, and their updates are just making the engine more intuitive, accessible, and powerful. And I think there is going to be high caliber games like this released for very reasonable prices because of that, because it's going to be much more accessible, much more intuitive, and I think it's going to drive a lot of competition into the shooter market, which is going to be both good and bad. You might have a large influx of games, but since you have a large influx of games, you'll have a lot more to choose from, and since the accessibility of the engine is so high, those games will probably still have, or at least have the potential to have, very high levels of quality, even with lower prices and without having to put in as much effort. Again, I mean, that's one of the things that our community has been trying to do is work in Unreal Engine 4, and if we're able to create something for free that even works at all, I think that's the other thing that people don't understand. Like, we're not even game developers. Like, we're not, and we're still able to make something that works in Unreal Engine 4. Like, that shouldn't even be possible. And when you look at other development teams out there who are even better than us working in this engine, I think Fog of War is the beginning of a new era of just a big influx of creativity and a big influx of work, and hopefully more selection for the tactical shooter market, because it'll be easier to make games for such a niche crowd. But yeah, so I made this because everybody was freaking out and they're like, why the hell haven't you covered Fog of War yet? I've seen it, I know about it. I'm very excited about it, but I have to remind you, YouTube is not my only job. I have other jobs that I have to attend to. I'm sorry. So I cannot be as like really super hardcore about covering things like this as I would normally want to be. Fly Daily actually covered Fog of War, which was really, really cool. And he's a really great guy, and I might play this with him. We were talking about getting together on a server. I don't think we can purchase a server yet, which is frustrating because I really want to purchase a server for this, but we'll just have to see. Okay, that is it. I'm going to go get my luggage ready so I can get on a plane. I hate flying. I hate flying so much. I don't want to fly to San Francisco. Oh my God. It's a 12-hour flight. 12 hours. Every single time. Every time there's an event, I have to fly 12 hours one way. And then I'm usually there for like 8 hours, and then I get right back on a plane after sleeping for like 3 hours at a hotel, which I don't even know why I have a hotel sometimes, because I'm like, I could just stay up and just get back on a plane and just sleep there, and then I fly for 12 hours again. It's just like, oh my God, this is so much more stressful than it should be, because I live in Kentucky. God damn it. But yeah, all right, that's it. Want to let you know I'm not stupid. People have been getting mad. They're like, why the fuck aren't you playing Fog of War, dick? Like, I know about it. I know about it. I swear to God. I swear to God. So we're gonna play it. It looks really, really cool. And then yeah, that's it. Okay. I'll see you guys later. Love you.